Okay, guys, so I'm going to go through this for you guys. What you're going to do this week is you're going to take one of your primary objects or your best objects that you like from last week, and you're going to separate the components as I did here. And you'll see over here what I've done is separate the components, and I've gone through a series of things that I've done to where I go ahead and I build out my design. I put my design up in the corner, and I go ahead and build out my object. Now I'm going to explain to you here a little bit better on the handouts here on this other screen, and you'll see if I look at I go here and I pop this open here, you'll see on the full-size screen. First thing I did was take this into Photoshop and I picked my favorite one and I separated the components. I circled the gun on top, the main fuselage, and the wheels. And the first thing I'm going to do is take my object and I build a proper grid. Notice how these are equal squares around it. Side view and top view. Build a grid around your objects, side and top view. Next thing is pick your primary fuselage and do your side view and top view only on that piece. Notice how I use the same grid. Once you get that done, you find your primary part of your vehicle in ortho, top, side, and side. Now you build your matching 3D ortho. This is very imperative that these squares match these squares. And this is done in Photoshop. That's why it's kind of layered like this, so I can these are printouts, but you can manipulate these things really easily in Photoshop. If you do it analog, make sure you use tracing paper. Next thing I do is I take this and I plot it, just like we've learned multiple times. Basically, an XYZ object, plot your XYZ shape, only the main body. Go back to week 5 or week 4's homework, and you'll see you're doing these on these basic shapes. Okay? So the next thing you do is you're going to do your tracks. So I went and got some track reference. See how I got really nice reference here. Because the next thing I do, and this is what's cool about Photoshop, if you do this, is you do your wheels width and your tracks in your orthos, and then you go to your next one, and you're going to make your orthos of your fuselage go away on both of these orthos. And then you just worry about doing your tracks. So you do your tracks, and you see how I'm roughed them in pretty well. Next thing I do is I do my other component, which is my gun. And then I plot it on my ortho top and side, and then plot it on that. And the very last thing I'm going to do then, in Photoshop, is turn on all of my layers, and your assembly will layer up on top of each other. And that's what I want you to do, because once you do that, then you can flatten the layers, image, enlarge it, and do your clean overlay to come up with your clean fuselage, your wheels, basic track system, and your basic components. That's all I want you to do next week. So this would end up being, with my pen, a really nice clean line drawing of my basic shape. Feel free to use your tools and your guides to get these wheels nice and in perspective. All of your nice guides here. I can see that one matches pretty well. This one up here would probably be a little bit thicker. I'll go ahead and find my axis, my wheel. All right, I'm going to do all of these tracks. Spend some time. I'm going a little bit too quick for my taste right now. I'm trying to do this for the demo. And I'm going to want a nice, clean, organized drawing for next week, but you don't have to do all of the details. We'll add all of that, okay? Something that also looks like that would look something like this. This is a little bit more refined, obviously. They put the treads on and some of these details, but look at how they paid attention to exactly what's going on right here with this. It makes sense. That kind of stuff needs to happen, but you don't need to put handles and numbers and treads even on the treads yet. or any things on the tracks or inside the wheels. We'll do all that next week. I basically want the fuselage and the tracks, or the basic components mapped out. Okay? So that's what you're going to be doing next week. All right.